Hey, it's Matt Pinfield. It's KLOS New and Approved. We've got one of our favorite guests back this week, and it's good to see him again. Chris Jericho is with us, which is so great, from Fozzy and from Quarantine, and you know him from so many different things. But Chris is, to me, the ultimate rock fan and a hero himself. So, Chris, good to see you, buddy. What's going on?
Rocking, man. We just finished up a really cool Kiss festival called Kiss Cancer Goodbye. This Saturday we played in Sarasota. It was a big kind of a festival of all things Kiss. So we brought the Quarantine machine out for that, which was the perfect warm up for our gigs in LA and Las Vegas on Saturday and Sunday.
It's amazing. You know, I know you wrote the forward to the Take It Off book, too, with Kiss, from the years of Without the Makeup in the 80s, the Greg Prato book, which was really cool. And I love what you wrote in there. I think it's great because I love that you make a case for those 80s records because there's so many great songs on those records. Plus, you guys do the singles, the 4 singles that you guys have released. You know, they're deep tracks. You know what I mean? They weren't the immediate singles off the records.
And that's the idea for this. Like, you know, we're huge fans of 80s non-makeup Kiss, which was just a tremendous era. And you know, I'm not going to fight with anybody, but that's my favorite era of Kiss. So we put this thing together during the pandemic, quarantine, get it. And we started releasing the singles to radio. And Good Girl Gone Bad, Silver Spoon, and No, all went to like top 20. And Good Girl Gone Bad even went to top 10 on rock radio, just to show you how good those songs stand up and how great they are. So it's an era that Kiss doesn't really ever focus on, but Kiss fans really appreciate it. So we started doing shows, and here we are making our debut on the West Coast at the Whiskey, one of obviously the most famous venues in the world in LA on Saturday. And I mean, who would have ever thunk that we could take it that far? But it really has become a thing. And we've also noticed now as well that a lot of people show up with Kiss makeup outfits on, because now that Kiss is done, this is one of the outlets for people to go and still appreciate the band and the music and the legacy they have. So we're kind of carrying the torch now that the OGs have put the torch down.
Yeah, I think it's great too, and you know, it's really cool too because they played there. Or maybe it was a couple of years back, and that was an incredible show.
Yeah,
remember?
Yeah.
And Chris, and of course, you know, they couldn't really do their makeup and put on their outfits there because of the space. You know what I mean, to get in. So I think they did it at the hotel across the street, like the old Bellagio.
Yeah, they had to walk across Hollywood Boulevard, or something. They had to go walk across Sunset Boulevard in their full costumes. So maybe we'll do the same with Quarantine, but our costumes are different. Mine's like a full-on Paul Stanley from the Animalize Asylum tour with no makeup. But yeah, man, I mean, once again, the whole concept of Kiss is just a great time. And this period of the non-makeup era, the songs are amazing. They really are. And whether you know them or whether you don't, it you know, right from the start, they're catchy, they're fun, lots of singing along, lots of great guitar solos and lots of great melodies. So it really has become like an amazing kind of second band for me. And for PJ Farley, well, for PJ, it's probably his 5th band, obviously PJ.
From Trickster. Yeah, he's great.
Trickster, and he's got a few. But our drummer, Kent, he's out with Luke Bryan playing stadiums around the world, and then coming back to do clubs with us in Quarantine. So it really is kind of infectious, and we love playing together. Musicians love playing with other musicians, and so as much work as we put into Fozzy, and as awesome it is playing with those guys, it's also cool to play with some other guys as well, singing some stuff that's very hard to sing. It's very high in range, a lot of those tunes, but we pull it off, and we have a great time doing it.
I love that you do Love's a Deadly Weapon too, which is a great tune. You know, that's the thing. Because I'm a Kiss fan like you, you know, I love deep album tracks too. From their whole career, right? You know?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, Good Girl Gone Bad and No are the 2 highest charting singles from the Crazy Nights record, way higher than Kiss ever charted with Crazy Nights and with Reason to Live. So that's actually like those 2 songs, just to show you how the music is eternal and timeless, blew up for us. You know, so it's kind of cool to know that, you know, we're keeping that alive, because there's so, like, from I Just Wanna to, you know, Silver Spoon to Good Girl Gone Bad, All Hell's Breaking Loose. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Domino, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All Night, and they're all so fun to play. And so, I mean, you could never write a song called All Night in 2024. But in 1985, it was the perfect song.
Yeah. It definitely spoke for the times, or for really, it speaks for any time. But it's like, it's just like, you had to release it now. But
really,
it's great.
It's like, the lyrics of Steel Panther are based on some of the lyrics that, Gene and Paul basically wrote. Like, we're about ready to do Fits Like a Glove on this next round of shows from the Look It Up record. And I'm just going through the lyrics, and it's like, goodness sakes, my snake's alive and it's ready to bite. It's like,
yeah, I love it. And definitely the guys, like Michael Starr and the guys in Styx, all the guys from Steel Panther, you can see where the influence comes from, right? Which is
great. Yeah, and it comes directly from some of these 80s Kiss tunes. So once again, we're playing these songs from a different time, but they still fit in well today. They're still fun to play. And like I said, we've kind of created a great fan base around this band. And we're just getting started. I mean, this is only our fourth or fifth kind of little run that we're doing, but it's starting to catch on, and we're getting more offers. We already booked some shows for March, and we do what we can with the schedules that we have, because everybody's super busy. But it's great to know that when we do have a weekend available, that we can fill it with quarantine dates and go and have a great time.
Hey, talk to me about playing Wembley too for the AEW event. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, so combined in 23 and 24, Fozzy has about 5 minutes of playing time in Wembley Stadium, which I think any band in the world would take, unless you're Queen or, Foo Fighters or something like that. But for us, yeah, we played Judas last year. I kind of sang myself to the ring. And this year we played Spotlight. I saw myself to the ring for that. So, 2.5 minutes for each song as you're walking down this giant, stadium stage. So it was something else, man. Wembley is probably my favorite gig of all time. Queen at Live Aid, which was one of the best ever. And then, the concert for Freddie in 92 that they had at Wembley. I mean, it's Wembley Stadium, man. It's just got that vibe to it, and that kind of, that weight to knowing that you played there. And we did it, man. We played it, like I said, twice, a couple minutes each time, but it still counts, and it was an awesome feeling.
Yeah, that had to be incredible. That's about 25 years of Fozzy. It's great. You're celebrating the anniversary of that recently, too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we just finished kind of the first leg of our 25th anniversary tour, which is crazy to think. We're going to go out again, I think, in April and May, and we're going to continue. We're going to go to Canada. We do really well in the UK. We always have. We'll go back there probably next February. Yeah, and for the band to kind of be growing like we have. I mean, Judas has gone gold. It's on the way to platinum, almost there, probably about 90% of the way there. In this day and age, to have an almost platinum record is a pretty cool, statement and a pretty cool, monumental, accomplishment. So we're really proud of that. And like I said, getting a chance to play at Wembley a couple times, and the shows that we've done in the UK are getting bigger and bigger, and in the States too. So it's been really cool to see kind of how the band has continued to succeed, and after all this time, still kind of on an upward swing. So it's a really cool time to be involved with Fozzy as well.
Yeah, I mean, songs like "I Still Burn," they just sound great, so great on the air.
I mean, we literally have 8 top 10 songs on the radio now. So, in the world of rock radio, you never realize how important it is until you start getting played on rock radio, and it really makes a difference. Not so much in LA and New York, because it's more classic rock oriented, but you go to the Midwest and the Detroit and Cleveland and everywhere in between, Texas and up north, and I mean, rock radio is still very, very important. And like I said, I mean, just to be on any radio, to be on KLOS is huge as well. So just to know that when you're having that support from the guys and girls that are running the stations, it really makes a difference.
Yeah, it does. And there's still a lot of champions for rock out there, which is really
there is. Sure, important. There is. There really is. In the statement I keep hearing is that rock is dead, and it's really not.
It's so not dead.
It's so not dead. Rock has always been, and hard rock has always been kind of in the underground anyways. The only difference is once in a while you get a Metallica or Guns N' Roses that kind of breaks through to the mainstream. But other than that, all of us have kind of been in the same spot where you play for your fans, you grow your fan base, you kind of do it, just word of mouth more than anything. And there's so many great bands out there that are doing this. And some of them, I mean, you look at a band like Greta Van Fleet, they're, a bona fide arena rock band now. So it's good to know that some of the bands are breaking through and getting to higher levels. The Struts are starting to really make some waves. Great rock and roll band. So yeah, it's not dead at all. Our favorite bands are getting older, but they're still drawing huge crowds, and the younger bands are continuing to pick up the slack as they go along.
And I do love when the older bands bring out the younger bands too, because we got to keep that legacy going.
No, absolutely, it's important to do that. And we always try and do that with Fozzy, even at our level. I mean, we do some pretty good tours, and we always make sure to bring out a younger band that people might not know, that we want to help get to the next level in their world. Yeah. It's important. I think you really have to do that. Because there are, like you said, man, there are some great bands out there, and they just need the exposure, and they need the reps, and they need to get on tour, and they need to get out there in front of new fans and experience what it's like.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. There's such a big hungry audience for rock and for new rock too, which is what this show does so much of. That's
that's important. It's great. It's so important because, like we said, I mean, even when you go see a classic band, like I always think of like Metallica and Iron Maiden and AC/DC, they still play a lot of their new stuff, as they should. Classic is classic. It's great, but you want new. You have to have new. And whether it's new bands or new material from our favorite bands, that's all very important to keep promoting and supplying.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see AC/DC out pretty reckless, getting to see Taylor out there with them, and and Wolfgang and Mammoth going out, as they have done with Metallica. Just these things are good. It's always good when they're giving.
No, it'd be even better if it was Fozzy, but we'll take it.
Yeah, well, that's still not out of the question. It's got to happen. You know what I mean? Hey,
absolutely.
One of my, I know we've talked about this before, but more often than not recently, I've been referencing you in a lot of conversations because of the fact that a lot of rock guys, I mean, this goes back to Lemmy as well, love SOS by Abba, and I think you were the first band that I knew that actually recorded it, and you stepped out and said, "This is an incredible song." I think that's one of the best pop songs of all time. And it works in a rock forum. It works in any format. I love that track. Can we talk about that? Because you were proud to do that song. And Lemmy, of course, used to say to me that his favorite band other than the Beatles were Abba. So let's talk about that track. Because I love that song. Funny. He did such a great version.
We just started playing that again in the set for the 25th anniversary shows. And what we found out is it's actually our third most streamed song behind Judas and Painless. And I was like, wow, I had no idea. And you're right. People love that song. And there's a real connection to it because it does have a dark side to it, a darker element. It's got some pretty fancy picking. It's like almost like a Rush Dream Theater type of a little run there. And it's very contagious and catchy. And whenever we play it, you'll always get people that at first are like, oh, that sounds like that is that song. Oh, wow. We actually had a mosh pit for that in London once, which was hilarious. Maybe the first mosh at an ABBA song, maybe. But we've done that. I mean, we've picked a few really good songs like Relax by Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's another one that when we play, it really gets a great reaction because, they're very cool songs that when you take the root of it, and then make a modern spin on it, it really fits in today's day and age. So that's why they hold up. I mean, a good song is a good song, no matter what decade it is.
Yeah, and it can be, it's almost like I agree with you totally because of that thing. Like, Relax is a great song. It has that, in your version, brings that powerful, like boombox feeling to it, where it's like
it can almost be like a Rammstein riff, like dun, 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 like Du hast.
It's very much so.
And then we've had a really good track record of picking songs like that. But SOS is one of those ones that still to this day, people love our version of it and want to hear it. So we put it back into the set, and it's one of the highlights of the show.
And I just thought about what you said about it has a darkness. It's those chord progressions in the chorus part, at the second part of the chorus, where it's like it's kind of it's got some darkness there. You know what I mean? The chord progression.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And cool. That's why it works, So yeah, and like I said, whenever we choose something like that, we always put a lot of thought into how can we make this our version of this song, and does it fit kind of the Fozzy vibe? And with both those tunes, they do.
Absolutely, because this is, it's got to be amazing. I mean, you've got so many fans yourself with Fozzy, with the wrestling that you've done. But is there any heroes? Because you've met many of your rock and roll heroes. Are there any that you haven't met yet, or we lost too soon that you wish you had met? If there were, obviously Freddie's got to be one of them because we've always talked about Freddie.
Yeah, Freddie for sure. I was a huge Cliff Burton fan when he passed away. Like at that point in time, I would have been kind of cool to. But once again, Cliff Burton in 1986 and Chris in 1986, I wouldn't have known what to say to Cliff Burton. If I met him today, it'd be a whole different story. And same with Freddie and a lot of those guys. But I've been pretty fortunate to meet a lot of really cool guys that have become fairly good friends. And that's when you first meet somebody that you really respect, you're a little bit afraid because there's the guy that you had the poster on your wall, or you were listening to his song. And then once that wall kind of breaks away, then it's just two guys who happen to have a pretty cool job that understand what it's like to travel the world doing what you love to do, but all the trials and tribulations that comes with that. So you do develop a pretty cool rapport, and it's like anything else. You might be, the number one fan of Lemmy, but when you meet Lemmy, and maybe you don't have the same type of personality. I got along great with Lemmy. He was awesome. What a fucking great guy. Sorry for the F word. What an F. Yeah. That's Lemmy. I'm allowed to say F.
You're allowed to say it. Yeah, we can always say it.
Yeah. But just a gentleman, very funny. And once the wall broke down of just being Lemmy, then he's just a cool guy to be around and hang out with. I remember I went to his apartment, not the one on Sunset, but he had a bigger one further down to do Talk Is Jericho. And he showed me all of his World War II memorabilia. Now, you might think this is amazing. He had so much stuff that after about 20 minutes of him describing this medal and this fork and knife set and this lighter and this, uniform, I felt like I was hanging out with my grandfather. I was like, I'm so freaking bored right now. I can't take any more history. You know what I mean? Like, can we smoke a cigarette and have a vodka instead? Yeah. But that was him. He was so into it. And we got along so well. He wanted to show me all, but explain it too. And that's kind of what friends are. You just become, friends. And that's the kind of the best part about meeting these guys that are your heroes that end up becoming your friends and just good guys that, Nico McBrain just retired 2 nights ago with Iron Maiden.
Yeah, that final show, right? It was
final show. Just the sweetest, coolest guy in the world. Such a friendly guy. Always makes me feel like I'm his best friend. So, guys like that you would never expect. And so it's a real honor to get to know the guys that, like I said, you used to have the pictures up on your wall and then you become friends with them.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. One of the lessons I want to talk to you about too is, I want to ask you also about, Fozzy, the future, what we're going to see, over the next 6 months. But I wanted to know, how was you went to some of the Final Kiss shows, right? And I know you were.
Yeah.
Because all the guys, so many of our friends were at those shows because they wanted to be there. Did you enjoy yourself at them?
Of course. A Kiss show is always a party.
Yeah.
And once again, for me, I wish they would play more 80s stuff, but that's me because I'm just the 80s Kiss guy. But other than that, to this day, we've never seen a show with that type of production. And I know the End of the Road tour got split up with the lockdown, but there was basically 2 legs of it, before the lockdown and then after the lockdown. And I think by the time that it was done, they had earned the chance to step back because they worked their asses off and toured everywhere. And keep in mind, not being able to tour for 2 years, your age still continues. So Paul and Gene were 2 years older when they were getting ready to wrap it up. And, just amazing to be a part of that and to be part of the Kiss journey the whole time. And we just played the Kiss Cures Cancer festival I was telling you about in Sarasota, and Bruce Kulick joined us for the majority of our set. And just to be on stage playing all these amazing songs with Bruce Kulick was like, man, once again, talk about blowing your mind about like 15-year-old Chris,
Yeah.
Playing, Silver Spoon with Bruce Kulick for the first time ever for him. He'd never played Silver Spoon from the Hot in the Shade record. It was just like, he'll never forget playing Silver Spoon for the first time with us. And of course, we'll never forget playing it with him. So just the whole Kiss camp has always been amazing. I mean, Paul and Gene, and just great guys, and so influential both on the stage and off. So much deserved for them to step back. But I have to say, I still hope that they get together at some point and do something, whatever it may be. And if they don't, well, they earned the chance to relax for a bit.
Absolutely. I love those guys. I mean, they're both amazing, and I will be fan. I'm a fan for life. You know what I mean? I'm always going to be those guys.
And we always will be. And that's one thing. That's why quarantine is such a celebration. We're keeping that, as Bruce Kulick says, his era alive. Yeah. And there's dozens of tribute bands keeping the 70s version of Kiss alive, but we're doing that for the 80s, and it's all important. No matter what stage of Kiss you got into, there's something for you to enjoy. And even if you would rather hear the makeup Kiss, we still got, Detroit Rock City and Love Gun in our set. We just do them the way they played it in the 80s, which is super fast, which is awesome.
That's yeah. Those songs they're still great, all of it. So it's really cool. I mean, like you said, they've worked so hard. They're one of the hardest working bands of all time, in my opinion.
But you have to be, and that's the thing. We talked about Iron Maiden, you're talking about Metallica or AC/DC, or any of these bands that have been on top for long periods of time. You got to work hard. And when you're playing such big rooms, these stadiums that the bands are playing in, I just saw the Stones over the summer 4 times I went.
Yeah.
Still working the stadium like it's a backyard. And, it doesn't matter if you're mixed age at 80, Bruce is 66 now. Angus is going to be 70. Like, these guys are getting older, but they don't act that way on stage. They still act and work and play like they always have. And to me, it kind of just shows the timelessness of rock, in that they keep breaking down the barriers where, back when our dads were 40, it was you're old.
Yeah,
now
it was. 40 it was. Like, oh, you were like, yeah, exactly.
You're done.
It's so weird, isn't it? It's like a different
really
thing now. And rock and roll keeps you younger, and it just, it's that spirit.
It's does, a really different culture. And throw that with the bands that actually are in their 20s and 30s, and we've got a pretty good mix of what you can accomplish. But once again, Matt, you have to work hard to do it. Maybe now more than ever, because rock and roll, as far as the revenue that you can make from it, gets smaller and smaller every year in certain ways. But you have to stay ahead of the curve, and you have to just keep working hard. If you work hard, you'll always accomplish what you want to do, because nothing is easy ever, especially in show business. It's even harder. But if you really want to do it and you work hard, you can do it.
And you got to love the process too, right? I mean, you got to really enjoy what you're doing. It's not about a thing like just an end game. You've got to really enjoy, and for the love of the music,
Yeah, you have to enjoy what you're doing, and you can't be doing it just to make money. The money will follow, but you have to do it because you love it, and you have to do it because you get something out of it, and you have to love it to work as hard as you have to work to make it happen. And then once you can do that, then the money will come. But it takes a while to get there, but that's okay. It's all part of the experience.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Chris, it was so great to have you on. Thank you so much for coming on. And my last question is, Fozzy, next 6 years, a month, do you have anything mapped out right now you can share with us?
Well, like I said, we're going to continue the 25th anniversary tour in April, back into the States again. I think we're actually coming through LA, I believe. But we haven't announced that yet. But yeah, we're going to be doing this for the next year and change. And the thing is too, we're working on a few new songs, and I think that's going to be our business model from now on as well. Just release a song at a time. I think the days of the full-length album might be done for us, at least, because there's too many great songs that we didn't get a chance to really promote or focus on. Your Boombox had 12 songs on it. All of them were great.
Yeah.
4 of them went to top 10. Another 3 get played live. And the other 5 just kind of get lost in the ether. And I don't want to lose these songs in the ether anymore. So I think we're working on another song that we'll probably put out in April around that tour. and we'll just continue going from there.
That sounds great, man. Well, we look forward to it. Chris, thanks so much for joining us today. Have a great show Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, playing the Whiskey A Go-Go Quarantine. It's going to be great. 80s Kiss and some other surprises. And Chris always puts on a great show. And PJ from Trickster's great, too. And it's amazing.
Yeah, the whole band is great. Yeah. It's going to be a rock and roll party.
And your drummer he's out with Luke, so he's taking he takes the weekend.
No, he had a weekend there. He's doing the thing with Luke in Fort Myers this week, and then he's coming out to LA and Vegas with us. But once again, it is a rock and roll party. We have a great time, and we're super excited. I mean, the Whiskey A Go-Go is one of the most iconic venues in the world. It's our West Coast debut, and it's going to be a blast. So come check us out on Saturday.
That's right. Saturday night, everybody. Whiskey A Go-Go. And if you're watching in the Vegas area as well or listening, because I know a lot of you stream, you can go to Vamps as well on Sunday night, okay?
And Bruce is going to join us on Sunday night as well. So
Bruce,
thank you, Matt.
It's so great to have you, Chris. Thanks so much for doing this today. Chris
Anytime,
Jericho,
man.
Fozzy, Quarantine. Don't forget the shows are this weekend. If you're a Kiss lover like the rest of us, you should definitely make the show. It's going to be a complete rock show at the legendary Whiskey A Go-Go. I'm Matt Pinfield. What's that?
Listen to sexy Matt Pinfield. He knows what he's talking about.
No one's sexier than you, though, Chris. You are the man. And I still love to watch you. I love to watch you fight, man. It's great.
Thank you.
You know, I love the two Chris's that I know because it's the same Chris, but you know what I mean? There's a rock and roll Chris.
Yeah, sure
watch you fight, it's like and you're one of the hardest working men in showbiz, which I really admire and appreciate. You know what I mean? You kick ass.
You, Matt.
And you
I appreciate it, man.
You set a goalpost for many, you know what I mean, to just put that kind of energy and effort into the things you do and love. Give it your all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Chris Jericho, everybody, thank you so much for listening to and watching KLOS. I'm Matt Pinfield. Don't forget, Quarantine and the rest of the Fozzy 25th anniversary tour. It's coming in the spring, actually, in April. And there'll be a show here in L.A. I'm Matt Pinfield again. Take care. Thank you to Chris Jericho for hanging out with us today on KLOS New and Approved.